How we doing, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Wolf, and welcome to the second or third, I believe it's third, Slam Rework League starter. This is going to be a full showcase on my Facebreaker Ground Slam Berserker. Now, I did do a video, sort of a quick overview, showcasing all four of the builds you are seeing on screen right now. That should give you a decent experience for the new changes in Harvest League. Of course, Slams got reworked and War Cries got updated. There's also a new support called Fist of War that makes the Slams do a nice AoE every couple of seconds and amps it just pretty much entirely. So I'm going to be using that in pretty much all of these builds, including the one I'm showing you in this video. This one is going to be around my Ground Slam Berserker. Now, I have played a Ground Slam Berserker before, a Vol Ground Slam Berserker, and it was a lot of fun. I played it with a two-handed axe, and that build will be on the channel. I think I played it in 3.6, somewhere around there. And I absolutely love that character. It was super satisfying. I stacked, I think, rampage bonuses on it, and it was great. I had rage taking up from kill bonuses. I had rampage taking up from kill bonuses. I loved it. But it has come to my attention that you can do some pretty nice things with Ground Slam in the coming league, because they said at the very bottom of the Slam manifesto, which I'm not going to go and find right now. I probably should have had it prepared, but you can now use Ground Slam Unarmed. Yeah, so that opens up Facebreaker and Hollow Palm technique. I haven't used Hollow Palm technique myself because I skipped out on Delirium League. It was actually a pretty good one to skip, apparently, from the mass reception of it being pretty average. But with that being said, I didn't play in it, so I didn't use Hollow Palm technique or any of that sort of shenanigans. But I have played a lot of Facebreaker characters, primarily War Chiefs, and a lot of Facebreaker Berserkers. So this isn't my first rodeo with this type of character. I know how to make one of these fellas. But we do have a slight issue that I will show you right now, which is my path of building currently, as I make the build beforehand, as we all of us content creators have to make builds, beforehand, generally about 3 days before the league starts, and we've got to prep a shit ton of videos. The path of building doesn't get updated with the actual numbers and amounts of all the new stuff that fast. Sometimes it takes a couple of days, sometimes it even takes until literally the day the league is coming out for the path of building to be updated with the actual numbers, because obviously people do these sorts of things. It takes time. So as a result, I won't be able to give you the exact DPS numbers. I don't know what damage it's going to pull in. I don't know how it's going to look DPS wise, because of course currently as it stands, Ground Slam cannot be used unarmed. That is coming in Harvest. So DPS wise, I'm not entirely sure how this is going to look. I have made Ancestral War Chief Berserkers get up to a couple of million DPS. So with Facebreakers, the damage potential is there, and it is a very easy build to play, and an even easier build to gear. In Solo Self-Found, it might be a little bit harder, because you do have a decent amount of uniques that are needed. I would also recommend making this a second character for a lot of people, because of course you do need Facebreakers, so once you find them, if you want to play this character, I would then re-roll into a Facebreaker Ground Slam Berserker. Alternatively, you can still play this character, but it's going to be a little bit weird. I'd recommend just using a two-hander and changing out the Facebreaker stuff, but the idea should still work for you. The other reason is because of Rapid Expansion, which is a unique jewel acquired in, I believe it's Act 5, that you get for free from the main quest. The reason you want to make it a secondary character is you use your first character, who hopefully doesn't need any of the jewels, to pick up a rapid expansion from the quest, and then on your next run-through, on the character that's going to play this build, you grab your second one, and you can have a very, very large Ground Slam AoE. So, that is why I would recommend that. The rest of these uniques are pretty easy to get. I find that all four of them, generally these four, Meganords, Facebreakers, Dyed Billow, and Great Old One Sword, all drop for me at some point within a league. And I do play a decent amount, but I have found Facebreakers reliably every single league for the past like 4 or 5. So they are gettable. You may need to run a lot of maps. You may need to do some unique shenanigans to find them. Maybe do some unique glove cards. But I promise you, if you just keep at it, you play a shit ton, you'll find them. If you're not able to play a decent amount, just play Trade League, right? You're not going to miss out on anything, right? So just play Trade League, grab all the stuff you're going to need here. This build will probably cost you about 10 chaos, less than that probably, in Trade League to get a well-rolled setup. Alrighty, and with that, let's get into our skill tree. That is the basic snapshot of it. I'll explain this in just a moment, but we're going to start off with our Ascendancy. So, for Berserker, we're going Crave the Slaughter, Rite of Ruin, Aspect of Carnage, and Pain Reaver. You're going to want to grab Pain Reaver first at about level 30 from your trial, because this will solve all of your mana problems while leveling, because it gives you 2% of attack damage leached as mana, which solves all mana issues. Before, I used to go with Lyra, but instead, now I can get 2 passives, and just by going Berserker, get Pain Reaver and solve that problem. You could alternatively go Warbringer, maybe, if you want to use Warcry stuff, or you really want to use one of the new Warcries with the Harvest League coming up. But personally, I just go for Pain Reaver. I grab this level 30. Solves most of my issues, then go Crave, then go Rite of Ruin, and last grab Aspect of Carnage. Rite of Ruin gives you stun immunity. I was talking about that in the 4 builds video, that I forgot to grab stun immunity, but it gives it to you from Rite of Ruin. So grab this as soon as possible. Obviously, if you're keeping up on all of your trials, you should have these 3 to start, and then finally you should get Aspect of Carnage for a nice damage boost after you get a lot of your characters sorted, because I find finding all 6 trials becomes a massive bitch. So then once you find them all, you get a nice damage bonus, but make sure you can maintain the increased damage taken from Aspect of Carnage. Alright, into the basic skill tree. Start out life, grab the life there, come up, grab Resolute Technique, grab the Rapid Expansion Jewel, and the Jewel slot here for Rapid Expansion. These don't have a level requirement, so you can just slot that fella in here. We have Strength, 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 so that's 40 Strength for this fella. At least it should be. I would hope so, right? Strength. Yeah. So that is enough to make Rapid Expansion do what we are looking to make it do. Yeah, since there's no level requirement, you can actually slot this fella in from like level 10 if you want to. You just come up here, grab it, put it in there. You're in business. Your Ground Slam now has a wider angle. This stacks to 2, obviously, so use both of them. And Ground Slam will also grant you an Endurance charge when stunning an enemy, which means while leveling, you can be at, max Endurance charges 24/7 from level 10 if you're doing this as a second character. That's why I said I would recommend doing that. Bit of life up here, or pop over here. Endurance charge if you're looking to go that route. Devotion for max life. Grab this node rather than any of the nodes here first, because this is 6%. These are 5% apiece. Jewel slot if you are looking for bonus damage. Sovereignty for reduced reserve, max life, and Whispers of Doom. Now, I would recommend kind of cutting it off like here, and then going up to this section as we get later into the game, because we're going to be running double curses with Whispers of Doom, and that's more of a late game thing. While leveling, look to go for damage, which will mostly be found through shield nodes, such as Solidarity right here. Attack skills dealing 20% increased damage while holding a shield. Elemental resistances while holding a shield, and chance to block while holding a shield. Now, since we're playing Facebreaker and we're using a ton of uniques, it makes capping resistances a bit of a bitch. So, to solve that problem, you can go for Diamond Skin, giving you 36% resist. I know it doesn't say it there, but it's 12% all resist, so 12, 12, 12 is math. So as a result, we get 36% there, making our gearing that little bit easier. You can also take Holy Dominion if you need resist as well, because that gives you another 36. Is it 30? Yeah, 36. I just did this, right? So 36 plus 36 is a number I don't want to figure out. 72? I think that's wrong, but yeah. Wait, no. I don't know. It's not worth my time. But yeah. So pop over here, down from Res Tech, we grab life and all elemental resistances, which is really nice. 6% for capping there. Endurance charge and life regen per charge. This is really nice. Keep in mind we're going to be at constantly full charges from rapid expansion, so extra life regen per charge is very useful. You can also grab even more at Inexorable if you want. Inexorable. I don't know, words are difficult. If you want to take that route. I've left this deliberately open, so you can take whichever direction you'd want to, and I will, of course, cover them. And then we grab Aggressive Bastion for flat damage. Obviously, I can't really see how it scales. I know the nodes that I normally take for this type of build, but we can't really see how it scales. I was going off of Cyclone and Consecrated Path, I believe, for DPS beforehand. So yeah, do you want to grab as many shield bonuses as possible, or damage bonuses to Unarmed if you find those on jewels or anything like that. Battle Cry to make War Cries instant. Come down here, and we grab damage with a shield. Art of the Gladiator for attack speed and ignoring movement penalties from armor. You can grab Berserking if you want to take that route as well for bonus attack speed. Rapid expansion, and then Constitution. Up here for all our HP, and Path of the Warrior for reduced armor on enemies hit. So, that is our basic skill tree. Now, obviously, we have a lot still open. Whispers of Doom for the additional curse is really nice. I would grab that later on. Gives you a ton of bonus damage, and I will show you how in just a moment. But for the rest of it, you can go for AoE if you want to. You can go for more damage with shields, as I was saying. You can go for double damage. I mean, Connecting Back's isn't a great node for that. But you can go for bleed, maybe, if you want to try taking that route. I could see bleed being pretty good. I would also look towards impale. So if you want to just type in impale, you can grab all your impale nodes down here at Swift Skewering, grab Forceful Skewering for all this, run a Dread Banner, and you can probably get to 100% impale pretty quickly. There may also be a version of this build that runs Multi-Strike if you want to take that route. So Multi-Strike plus impales. Yeah. Could be quite decent. Could also just look to go tankier if you want to take that route as well. You can get a rather nice health pool with this sort of character. Other than that, skill tree wise, you know, jewels plus HP is good because you can use the jewels to get % damage everywhere and then increase max life on the jewels. Endurance charge here, 4 to 5 bonuses if you're looking for that. Some aura stuff potentially if you're looking for that. Onslaught on kill, even though it's a bit of a travel distance. And minimum endurance charges is also an option as well as charges on kill and damage per charge. So that is where you could potentially look to go for the rest of these. Alternatively, you could also go to Timeless Jewels. I skipped out on Delirium, so I don't really know what's there, but I know they are adding even more stuff for Berserker. So if you want to take that route, you can do that as well. Into skills, we have Vol Ground Slam with Pulverize, Brutality, Conk Effect, an unchecked AoE, and Ground Slam. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we will put Fist of War for 6. Obviously, that's not in my path of building either because it's not out yet. I don't exactly know what it's going to do, but it just looked really cool, so I want to make a build using it. I want to make multiple builds using it, actually. So the 6th link will be Fist of War, giving us a massive AoEs, which you can then combo with increased AoE if you want to take that route. That will make your ground slams rather thick. Is it actually not? Is that not linked to ground slam? Today I learned. But nonetheless. This is our setup. Potentially there might be more damaging setups. Maybe we could go for damage on full life if you have enough leech. If you want to take that route. There's a couple of different ways you can tweak this fella out. Obviously, I can't see damage numbers, so I can't entirely tell you. This is more of a template for a character than an actual character at the moment until we get the full setup for it. But it's something that I thought of immediately, and I know I've seen people look towards this idea, so if I can give you this and you can tweak it to your heart's content, well, that's a win-win in both of our books. From there, we have Shield Charge, Curse on hit, Punishment, and Vulnerability. This is the 2 curses we were talking about. Now, we can't use Leap Slam with Unarmed, which makes me sad. I really wish you could, but you can't. So we have to use Shield Charge, which makes it a little bit more awkward, but we will make it do. This is going to apply all of our curses. This is really good for bossing, really good for a pack-by-pack basis, because Shield Charge into the pack, slam the pack with Ground Slam, Shield Charge to the next pack, curse it, slam it, Shield Charge to the next. You get what I'm going for, right? Simple enough. Whereas with like Blasphemy, you charge into a pack, it blasphemies, you slam, and then with other abilities like, you know, Ice Crash or Earthquake, you'll charge away and then the explosion will go off behind you. It's not really an issue with Ground Slam, but I've been, you know, covering multiple builds, so my brain's on a sort of one-track mind. But that is a situation I found myself in a lot with other builds, so this setup just kind of allows me to not do that anymore and miss out on damage, building habits for future characters as someone who plays a lot of melee. But yeah, Punishment, Vulnerability are the 2 best curses for physical damage. They give you attack speed and maim chance and bonus physical damage and bleed chance and all this sort of stuff. So as I said, if you want to take it bleed, there's definitely an option for that as well. Auras, we're running Flesh and Stone, Blood and Sand, and Herald of Purity. Quick note on Herald of Purity, you want as much physical attack or physical damage to attacks as possible, because that is how Facebreakers scale. You want added fizz to attacks, which is why I'm running Great Old One's Ward for added fizz, Diabello for added fizz, Meganords for added fizz, Double Steals with added fizz, and I would generally run a Blood Grip here as well, but you may need an Onyx Amulet to supplement Dexterity. I'll throw a Blood Grip in here for you as well, if you want to just run that. Grab that. Bang. That is more... where the fuck was it? Did it just disappear on me? Whatever. That adds even more fizz to attacks. You can also roll a necklace if you want to take that route. You can roll fizz to attacks on something. So if you get an even better necklace that has good stats, or you get a Elder necklace that has fizz as extra X and Y, and you're not running Brutality for whatever reason, then you can utilize that as well. So that is the sort of unique setup we need. But we need the added fizz to attacks, which is added on from Herald of Purity. So this is arguably the best aura for Facebreakers, because I'm going to explain it very simply. Facebreakers gives you a more damage multiplier on the gloves, 700% up to 800%. It's like 6 to 800, somewhere around there. 800s cost a shit ton, trust me. I've rolled 799s and I sold them for an exalt and a half, so it was good. But to have the multiplier do anything, you need a base number for it to multiply off of, right? 800 times 1 is 800. 800 times 800 is a big fucking number, right? You see what I'm going for. So if we have 800 added fizz to attacks, we're in business. That's where a weapon will normally solve that problem. A weapon has base physical on it, base damage. We don't have that with Unarmed. So as a result, we need to stack added fizz to attacks to give us that base. I don't know the exact, start we get from the added fizz, but I would assume probably in the at least couple hundred margin times 800 gives us pretty decent damage. That is how you make Facebreaker builds work, which also means you want to use a Murderous Eye jewels that have added physical to attacks on them. So if you can't find a Meganords, use a Stygian Vise with a, with a Murderous Eye jewel in it. You can also use the chest piece that has abyssal slots if you want to do that and really min-max, but still. Back to this Blood and Sand. With Flesh and Stone, we're going to be in Blood stance generally to get bonus damage on pretty much everything. And then we have a Vol Ancestral War Chief with Culling Strike here. This is really useful for just clapping bosses because it doesn't have Culling Strike anywhere else. So you're going to want to drop both a Vol War Chief and a normal War Chief on the boss. You can drop both at once to give you bonus damage and burn the boss faster. And then it will call targets below 10%. Very useful. Blood Rage will make it so that we generate frenzy charges, which is attack speed, movement speed, makes us faster, basically. So run Blood Rage on any melee character, and then you run a cast when damage taken, summon Stone Golem to make it so the degeneration is no longer an issue. And then a War Banner, because this is just a ton of bonus damage. You can get adrenaline from this when you slam the banner. You just put it on at the start of a map, it'll build stacks. You get to the boss, you slam the banner, and you blow up the boss. You can also use Berserk if you want to. I find I don't generally, but you can slam War Banner for adrenaline, and then you can press Berserk, and you get a shit ton of damage, and you blow someone up. It's pretty good. I'll be honest with you, it's pretty damn good. So you can take that option for a ton of damage when you get to the boss. And then we have Steel Skin, just manual cast. You can use a cast when if you're really bad with it, but I found manual cast to be a better option. If you can see a mechanic coming, you know, Adziri's Flame Blast, and you can just Steel Skin, you're good, right? If you take your whole life pool and damage and die, then the cast when goes off, it doesn't save you, right? So, you know, if you're going to take a 5,000 damage hit, and you take the hit and die, not good. Whereas if you are going to take a 5,000 damage hit, you put up a 2,000 damage shield, you'd be at 2,000 life afterwards and survive, right? Bit of preemptive active mitigation is what it's called from my World of Warcraft times, that you can utilize on a rather short cooldown. You could also make a macro to just spam Steel Skin if you want to, if you use like Razor Synapse or something like that. I never thought about that, but if you want to, you can make a macro for Steel Skin and Warcries. Is that TOS? Because I might look into that one. Let me know if it is. Let me know if it is, because I might look into that one for long-term streams, you know. But yeah, get a shit ton of value out of that. I see people macroing fucking flasks all the time, so can't be bannable, right? But yeah, itemization I talked about earlier. You're going to want to look for double steals, and you're going to want to look for resistances every time you can. So look for added fizz on the main roll, then craft on resistances. You don't have many slots for resists. You have boots, gloves, pair of rings, and a chest piece. Plus, fuck, I just said gloves. I'm retarded. Body armor, boots, double rings, and necklace if you don't go for blood grip. It is really difficult to cap resist sometimes. I recommend going for a well-crafted astral plate. Keep in mind, in this sort of build, you have a lot of slots pre-taken, and these can't be changed. You can maybe roll a good Shaper Shield with like +1 totems. That can take the place of Great Old One's Ward, if you're looking to do that. Then you can get resists on the shield as well. That will solve your resist problems. There's more damage in having bonus... Wait, totems? Fuck, my brain's in Ancestral Warchief Berserker. One track mind, I tell you. Different character. Okay, sorry. Bit of a fucking brain malfunction. You can't change out the shield. You could, maybe, if you get a really well-rolled one, if you can get added fizz in a different spot. God, I completely fucking brain malfunction there. End of the video problems, I suppose. Yeah, if you really need resists, I'd recommend going for a shield instead and keep everything else in here because it's the lowest damage modifier aside from the belt. You could also go for, as I said, Stygian Vise to solve the resist problems and go for the lower rolled Murderous Eye. Like you'd wind up with like 4 to 8 fizz rather than 5 to 15, which is actually a massive amount. So, try and go for Meganords and cap res, but if you can't, Stygian Vise is an option. Maybe a shield's an option. Not with +1 totems, but still. And then with Dyed Bellow, one thing to note is that you can't leech when on low life because of this helmet. It's one of the things I fucking hate about it. I really don't like it. If you can get added fist to attacks anywhere else, feel free. You can run an Abyssius and be a meme lord and die immediately, but still. And yeah, rapid expansions, flasks are pretty self-explanatory. Quicksilvers, sulfur, divine with staunching and immediate healing generally. and Lion's Roar you can get from a card. But yeah, this is going to bring us to the end of this video. Let me know if you did enjoy it, as well as enjoyed my little brain malfunction there, I suppose. Let me know if you're going to be playing this or something similar to this. As I said, I am very sorry I can't get you an exact number on the build. But once things get updated and that sort of stuff, maybe I'll revisit this and I'll give you the actual number it gives me when I can update my fucking Path of Building. Alternatively, play it in Trade League, see how it goes. Maybe the fork for Path of Building will be updated faster. Who knows, right? But if I can just give you that spark of creativity, and you can go on and take that into your Shaper kills or delve farming or sitting in your hideout trading for 24 hours a day, whatever the fuck it is you people do in Path of Exile, then that is what matters to me, because that is the essence of League starters generally, not to just give you a build, but to give you a template to build your own adventure. That's going to be all from me, and as always, I shall see you in the next one. I hope to see you on the stream on launch day as well. But other than that, take care, gentlemen. See you in the next one.